Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Gosha from Cosmic Agency, and we are going to continue today with the stellar navigation. And today we will talk about three different types, modes of flight that the Taygetan starships have. And we will talk about the first one of these modes, which is gravitational cancellation, gravitational manipulation. In the middle of the video, I'm going to show you some pictures that Swaruu herself sent us, not from where they are at. They are from our internet. They are not authorized by the Federation, basically, to share any real photographs yet with the publics. Well, the ones I'm going to show you are real, but they are not. They are available on the internet to the public. So that's what I'm going to show you, and then at the end of this part I'm going to include a short conversation, question and answers that we had with her, Robert and me. So that's going to be quite interesting, and I'm going to encourage you, I want to encourage you to watch that part, because there's going to be an interesting detail about what some of the ships can look like. Not their ships, but many ships out there can look like. And then at the end I'm going to include a digital drawing that she made, Swaruu made, of the Andromedan hangar. So this is going to be at the end. Now, for some of you who might be asking, what is it about the stellar navigation that we want to present this so much, and that Swaruu wants to present this so much? And some of you might be asking, how is this of use to me in my life? First of all, this information that we are presenting in this channel is not just for the beginners, I would say. This is a hard information that covers all different topics, all different fields of life, and it is for the more advanced minds here, especially. There are so many channels already that talk about just meditation, just spirituality, but the 5D is not only about that. The 5D is about navigation, is about mastering technology. It's about so many different things that are not contradictory to the spirituality and to advancement of the mind. As for them, it is all connected. There is no contradiction. There is no left brain, right brain. They cover it all. They know it all. Most of them understand these topics. For example, I talked to her recently about doctors, and if they have dentists on board, and she says, yes, but we have just one physician, one doctor that covers it all. There are no specialists in different fields. The doctors knows everything. So the same here. There is no separation for them between subjects such as plants and crystals, and at the same time deep hardcore technology of the ship. Especially because, and this is important, as you will see, as you have been observing throughout these videos, the ships operate on frequencies. The stellar navigation, the supraluminar flight, the above light flight mode, basically is manipulating frequencies and working through frequencies. Medical pod, where you regenerate all your body, also is based on frequencies. Everything is frequencies. All is connected. So if you can just understand what's behind this technology, because by understanding this technology, you are understanding how frequencies work, and the reverse, by understanding how frequencies work, you can understand this technology and so much more, and you can apply this knowledge to your mind, because it's not just the ships that can manipulate and have access to that power of manipulating through frequencies. It's our minds as well. So don't look at this as something that you cannot use, something impractical for your daily life. See beyond and see the base here, the foundation of this technology, which is basically frequencies and energies. if we understand, if we crack this technology, we can apply this to so many things. We can apply this to sicknesses, to illnesses, to recovering our health, to recovering our life in general, and redirecting our realities. The minute you understand the frequencies and how they work, you'll be able to understand how you can change your life using the mind alone. And this is something that Swaruu told me herself. Also, keep in mind that we are preparing for the 5D ascension, let's call it that way, the removal of the 3D suppressing mechanisms, and this is going to be part of our reality. It's not just, we're not going to be catapulted into the 5D with rainbows and flying on love, but we will be confronted with these phenomenon, with this technology, with this knowledge. It's going to be part of who we are. Actually, it is already a part of who we are in 5D. As a matter of fact, most of you, most of us, the recent starseeds, and even before that, the older starseeds, we have already participated in this reality. This is deeply imbued in our subconscious and in our mind, these facts. So it's not something we are separated from. It may seem like it's something abstract to us, right? Or for some of us, for example, for me as well, because I'm not extremely technical in this incarnation, but it has been part of my past, my simultaneous reality somewhere out there in the 5D. And by tapping to this knowledge, we might recover some of the forgotten existence. So it's all part of the 5D, it's all part of the future and our present, and it's time we know these things. It's time we know these things. Swaruu wants to give the knowledge back to us. She wants to teach and give back what we have always had in the past. We have been interstellar civilization, and it has been taken away from us. Why and how, the whole process will be explained in ancient history of the humanity in a separate video. But that's what basically she's doing. She's giving this knowledge back to people, and let's cherish it. Even if we don't understand everything, part of our subconscious does. And it's time. If we want to be in part of the interstellar civilization, it's time we learned or relearned these things. So enjoy the video, and I'm going to see you at the end when I'm going to show you Andromedan hangars. Continuing with the information contained in Stellar Navigation 1, I will not describe the nature of the maps again, rather I will continue from there. Since everything is frequencies, and all frequencies manifest matter using standing waves and nodes as a consequence of their harmonics, a spacecraft uses the same method of insertion into a new place, called destiny, as the way we use to manifest a solid object using our tractor beam. This is to watch and mathematically understand not only the exact frequency of the destination, but also its frequency harmonics as well. For a spaceship to manifest itself in its destiny, what we must do is to equal the frequency and its harmonics of the matter of which our ship is composed with those of the destination, so that its energy matrix and all its components accept it as part of its harmonics, and this acceptance is equivalent to it being inserted there in the destination, the ship manifesting in the destination. A ship at rest at its starting point will have a specific frequency and in energetic harmony with its surroundings. At the moment when the ship alters its frequency and its harmonics and changes them to those of the destination using the frequency map or stellar frequency map, it ceases to be energetically compatible with its place of origin and becomes compatible with its destination. This is the energy frequency jump that we call quantum leap, supraluminar flight, warp flight, or hyperspace. It is indeed a leap from a material origin place into the ether, and from the ether back to another material destination place. As I described in Stellar Navigation 1, we can perceive or understand our stellar map of frequencies by replacing places and objects such as planets and star systems with their numerical energy frequency values. As I have explained before, large mass objects obtain a high numerical frequency value, and small objects have a low numerical frequency value, being that seemingly empty places such as deep space do not receive a frequency equivalent to 0, but a low frequency energy nomenclature, because space is not empty, but is the medium in which the gravitational waves that will form the objects when they have a correct and sustained harmonic are transmitted. Come with me, accompany me to the engineering levels of a starship. Each race has its ships, its tricks, and its ways of making them, and of overcoming or achieving the same. I know the functioning and variants of several interstellar races or species, but I will focus on Taygetas, not only because it is mine, and it is what I have here with me, but also because it is one of the most advanced. Not all races use the same engines or the same methods. A Taygeta ship uses 3 ways to move. 2 are considered as propulsion modes, and the third one is a manifestation based on frequency manipulation on the part of the same ship. The first is well known to all initiates in the UFO topic: gravitational manipulation. The second is by reaction-action, as a jet or as a rocket. Jet or high-energy electromagnetic plasma rocket. The third is the most interesting and is the one that favors the flight at higher-than-light speeds, and it is not considered as propulsion as the first 2 aspects. Total immersion of the ship itself in a high-energy frequency toroid controlled precisely from a computer manipulation of the ether. Gravitational manipulation. What is gravity? Gravity is nothing more than an energy flow within a potential energy medium called ether that obeys a specific frequency. It is not easily measurable from an existential low frequency plane. such as the Earth's 3D. And what can be perceived are only its effects as something that attracts large or small objects. So gravity is a specific frequency magnetic flux. If it is a specific magnetic frequency, it would be specific to each place, since the dynamics of energy interaction between objects, planets, suns, moons, for example, specific to each place, is unrepeatable. Gravity is directly coupled with the frequency of transformation of the potential energy to a solid object with mass, being that the amount of gravity that an object receives is directly proportional to its mass. So, to manipulate gravity, or to generate artificial gravity, what we must do is first detect the base frequency of the gravitational flow of that specific point or region, and with it create an electromagnetic flow of opposite values that neutralize it using the destructive frequency principle. This is if the gravitational flow of a place is 7.83 Hz, then we must generate the opposite, minus 7.83 Hz, which is equivalent to zero gravity or cancelled gravity potential. If you have a frequency of 7.83 Hz and you generate minus 7.84 Hz, you have a gravity percentage of plus 0.01 over the gravitational base frequency to be cancelled, which is equivalent to your object or ship going up slowly. If your base is 7.83, but you generate minus 7.82, then your ship goes down slowly. You just have to manipulate the frequencies that your engines generate in order to maneuver your ship or to cancel the gravity of a place. For that, we can use precise instrumentation such as magnetic interferometers, where we pass a specific and stable electric current known through a series of superconducting coils that have together another superconducting coil isolated by a non-conductive means of about 30 nanometers. The quantum jump of each electron between both superconducting coils will be directly affected by the presence of high-energy magnetic fields equivalent to gravity. The differences in electron flow between the two poles of the interferometer due to the presence and influence of gravity on their electrons determine by the computer the gravitational frequency to which the sensor is exposed. The computer will make the necessary calculations, and with them it will make a control algorithm over the motors that in turn will change or adjust their output frequency according to the instructions and the need of each moment. Gravitational generators. They are very similar to the base generators for the tractor beam. They are basically the same, only larger. They are placed in key places of a ship along the hull and all work interwoven because they cooperate with one another to give a total effect that envelops the entire ship. However, unlike the supraluminar total immersion toroid that we will see later, these small gravitational generators can alter the values of electromagnetic gravitational flow over a location, locations, or specific areas of a ship. As I described above, a gravitational generator can cancel the effect of gravity or manipulate it only by playing with its output frequencies. So, if all the generators are balanced, the ship remains static in flight. But if we alter the value of the front generators so that the Earth's gravity affects more the nose of the ship and not the tail, we will make it lean forward. We alter the values of a wing, and the ship leans to that side. Gravitational generators work or act as control surfaces, such as ailerons and flaps in a traditional aircraft. Gravitational generators can alter their values on the whole so that a ship moves in the desired direction, creating a gravitational gradient ahead of it. The ship literally falls in the desired direction. I have some schematic images here. They are from your web, but they can serve. They are downloaded from Earth websites. Not everything here applies to our ships. As gravitational generators are found throughout the hull of a large ship, they are also reduced in number in smaller ships, illustrating with this the need to use triangle ships or the so-called TR3, where gravitational generators are found one in each corner, as the most basic distribution. While this propulsion system is silent and allows high speeds, by itself, it is not enough to enable the ship to reach the speeds close to that of light, much less overcome it. A gravitational generator is almost the same, basically the same, as that used for the tractor beam. In its most common configuration, it consists of several layers of rotating spheres, one inside the other. Each sphere is of a non-conductive compound or material, but super resistant to high temperatures, and is completely filled with high-pressure metallic liquid in special alloy. The closest terrestrial equivalent is enriched mercury or red mercury. That itself is also used as such in some models of ships. The spheres rotate in the opposite direction to each other at RPM between 10,000 and 100,000. The differences in speed between each of the spheres and their relationship with others cause an internal change in the gravitational output frequency. Remembering that gravity is nothing more than magnetism at a very high frequency. What is there in these schemes are very basic things regarding gravitational engines. Many of these things are known on Earth. It is known even for the normal population, but they don't apply it. I do not doubt that it has been given in part by other races, and also the star seeds transmit it. These are made by me. They are for the supraluminar flight. That is not Webb, I made them. I used Webb toroids, a sci-fi ship, and with Photoshop I added them to illustrate the toroid in which a ship is wrapped for flight faster than light. This is the Alcyone ship seen from a telescope. They are real photos but augmented in contrast. The Eslientiplex ship, Arcturian, image well known. Royal Draconian ship, a ship chasing a rocket. One of our ships. Taygetan cargo ship. Centauri heavy cruise ship. Other Taygetan ships, Taygeta also have ships of Scimitar class B and Scimitar A. The A are interceptors and the B are assault. The difference is that the assault ones are heavier. Scimitar B arrive at a site and bring down members of our team, vehicles, equipment, etc. The Scimitar A are fast, light, designed to reach other hunting ships. The Scimitar measure 60 plus 3 meters with 2 reactors, give 2.5 to 3 TeVs of power. The B can have a crew of 7 plus 1. The A class are only 2 crew members, although they can carry more. Very good. I have already roughly described the flight by magnetic cancellors. Summarizing gravity cancellors. The sensors, mostly of the interferometer type, locate the precise magnetic gravitational frequencies of the place where a ship is flying. Then, the information is passed to the onboard computer, which gives the instructions to the individual generators in the hull of the ship, being that it activates all or only some, according to the maneuver to be performed. The generators will modify the exact output frequency of their high energy and high frequency magnetism, gravity, by modifying the velocity or velocity differential between the spheres filled with superconducting liquid. This liquid is not known on Earth since it is special and of high technology, but its closest equivalent on Earth is enriched mercury or red mercury, which is still used in some non-terrestrial ships. And this speed differential is modified with or using the parameters and instructions of the computer. The spheres of gravity generators themselves are made of non-metallic composite material that is very resistant to both dynamic forces as well as high temperatures. And in itself, electromagnetically speaking, its properties have been removed, remaining only as liquid containers, as if they were only spheres of superconducting liquid, rotating at different and counter-rotating speeds. The means of propulsion of rotation for the spheres of the generators is electric, being that the very same spheres act as a frame of electric motor, making it unnecessary the installation of additional external motors that drive the mechanism, and the typical speed of rotation oscillates between the 10,000 rpm and 200,000 rpm. These engines alone can drive a ship to a speed close to 50,000 kilometers per second, a good part of the light speed, or a sixth part of the light speed, and this system is considered as a gravitational propulsion or propulsion. The force or amperage, for a lack of a better word, of the engines is directly proportional to the total mass of the ship, this being a basic factor for the size, distribution, and energy consumption of gravity cancellors of each ship. The minimum number of gravity cancellors in a ship is 3. Less than that, there is no way to control the ship well, with chaotic results such as that of the Glocke Nazi, who only had 1, that did not control its output frequencies. Thank you very much, Swaruu. I have a question here. With those engines, the shape of the ship doesn't matter? It doesn't need to be aerodynamic, right? It doesn't matter, but yes, you have to first understand what it will be used for. Because if the ship does enter the atmosphere, yes, it still needs some aerodynamics. Although, strictly speaking, an electromagnetic toroid wrapping a ship would be what provides the aerodynamic shape and not the shape of the hull. Even so, very advanced ships like the Taygetan-SWARUUNIAN class are structurally aerodynamic. In the case of supraluminar flight, or in the case of plasma jet or gravitational propulsion also, the three ways, if a ship is wrapped in its electromagnetic toroid with a change in density compared to the external one, density differential between the ship and its surroundings, the shape of the hull becomes irrelevant, making it possible to fly at enormous speeds, a cube ship or a brick ship without problems. Having explained the above, in the discoidal ships, or the reason why many ships have a discoidal shape, especially the small ones, it is because it is the most suitable to promote the dynamic flow of gravitational waves that are generated by its small engines of relatively low power. This dynamic gravitational flow is called flux in a ship. With ships of greater power, the discoidal form is irrelevant. I thought that most ships were discoidal, but when I saw an image of how Susie is more or less, I realized that not all are discoidal or that it is not necessary. What happens is that the discoidal ones are the most frequently seen, speaking of the positive ones, no longer since all forms abound. Because discoidal ships are the ones used for basic transport. They are like cars for many races. They are everywhere, and everyone has one or more than one. Having said that, the most common form for an interstellar ship is... Tell me, what do you think is the most common shape? The spherical, the toroid, or it would have no form because it just manifests? Spherical, yes. Or this typical Mayer one? No. What is that? The asteroid form. It is not a joke, I am very serious. But done like that on purpose? To look like asteroids? A race captures an asteroid with the correct composition, usually metallic. They make it hollow, they put the motors in the back, cabin at the front, and there they have their ship. They save on having to install the hull, and this way they not only have protection from impacts in space, but also camouflage. It must be clarified that this is a low-tech solution used by thousands and thousands of civilizations that are barely taking their first interstellar steps. Oumuamua, or whatever its name. For a developing race, making a 2-kilometer-long polymorphic titanium hull like this one is prohibited. They use asteroids because in itself it is free, and in space the shape is quite irrelevant. Although this form is common and perfectly viable, that Oumuamua thing, we do not find any sense here to what they say, because there isn't only one ship out here, there are thousands, and in interplanetary and interstellar transit. As I said before, describing or being asked what Oumuamua is, it is as if they were telling you or asking you if in the street you have seen a strange metallic object with doors on the sides and which goes turning on a four-wheel base. There are so many ships, cars, that it is impossible to detect to which one they have pinned that Oumuamua name, or however it is written. Therefore, for us, it is just another lie from NASA. They only see one ship about 1 meter long, quite small, and ignore other 357,000 that pass around the area every day? It is just so that humans think that NASA could detect anything that went through the solar system. There is another problem here. Many ships are not moving in an observable density from 3D, which further complicates everything. In theory, none should be seen, if they are supposedly in 5D, right? But I understand that upon entering the atmosphere under Van Allen belts, this changes the situation. Yes, you can see many, because the visible from the 3D is the part of the electromagnetic spectrum, including the visible light spectrum, that the ship emits, and not the whole ship. Partly because of this, you can't recognize many ships like the ones I've sent here. And this problem also applies to planets and distant suns alike. They only see the 3D parts of what is outside, not everything that is outside, or only the 3D components of objects of other densities, since a higher density such as 5D includes 60% of 3D. I terminate this section of gravitational impulse motors. Next part we will do jet propulsion of high-energy electromagnetic plasma. How was that? Quite interesting, right? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Now, here a few days ago, we were talking with Swaruu about Andromedan biosphere ship, because this is where Swaruu was at that time, and she wanted to show us what the hangar looks like. She says she likes to take web images and transform them so they resemble as much as possible what she sees from there. And she says, I'm in this hangar now. Let me show you now the photo. I am in this hangar now, on the side of the ship right now. This place is where they land and keep so-called hunting ships, like mine, Susie. Yes, I recognize that there are components of human hangar here, but they do not differ much from what is here, like the structures on top. The wall on the left, she says, I worked hard on that to make it look like the one here. The ground is darker, almost black, but although I obscured it, it doesn't look good enough. It looks like patches. It doesn't look exactly like that. The ship Andromedan biosphere has 811 kilometers. It's very, 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 very long. And they live on those ships, by the way, which will be explained later too, all about Andromedans. And here I asked her, because what drew my attention was that space wall, like there's a crystal transparent wall. So I'm asking her, can you see space like that too on the side? Is it the glass wall? And here, surprise, surprise, she says, there is no wall there. It is the space itself. The ships come and go. There is a force field there, or rather several force fields there for safety. But it is as if there is nothing there. Quite cool. Now, she says, this hangar is on the side of the ship where all the lights are seen. It is so large, the ship, that it would represent only one of those lights. Or, if off, it would be one of the dark holes on its side. She says it's a huge triangle. Star Wars, Star Trek is just to hide this, because she used, from what I remember, she used the Star Wars picture of that ship to transform this into this. So Star Wars and Star Trek just hide these realities and these ships. They hide what's really outside. And this ship, this Andromedan ship, is in high orbit right now at 490, more or less, at almost 491,000 kilometers from Earth. It is parked behind the moon, and the moon is about 384,400 kilometers away. Well, this is it for today's video. We will continue. There is much more in this stellar navigation series, so we will continue. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you a very good night or a very good day. Thank you very much, and see you in the next episode. Bye!